Coming to you from the United States of America, this is Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with Rick Warren and Gordon Park. Join us as we give our opinion concerning everything dealing with politics. We don't hold back, so prepare for a no-nonsense approach to the news, and no, we don't care about your feelings. Uncensored and no sugarcoating. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill. Before we get started, I would like to introduce to you the cast of Political Analytical. We have our very talented and knowledgeable Mr. Rick Warren, our sexy, opinionated James Toops, an extremely knowledgeable constitutionalist over opinionated and stubborn Mr. Gordon Park. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you so much for hosting this great show with me.
Thanks for having us, Guy.
Good evening, Eddie.
It's our pleasure, bud.
Well, as most already know, our show is mainly geared toward the conservative way of thinking. But we're never going to lie about anything that we talk about. We'll tell you our feelings about certain topics. We may get angry, we may scream and yell, but we will always be honest with you about what the topics are and our views toward the topics. But how do we as a nation, as the United States, come to terms with the passing of America? Hold on, you say, America has died? Well, if I were a doctor looking at the pulse of our nation, I would have to say that we are in full-blown cardiac arrest. With this in mind, let's have a look at President Biden's first week in office, what he has already done, which is causing the death of America. Not to mention where the United States will be in 4 years. Gordon, go ahead and start us off.
Well, if we look over what's been done just since his inauguration, we have to look at the fact that he has already spent trillions of dollars, and I mean trillions. I mean, I've always said that my wife can blow $100 faster than any person on the face of the planet, but I think that he outpaced her. Hands down, he outpaced her. First executive order that he did is that face masks are required on all federal property. Okay. Forget about the people who fall under the American with Disabilities Act who can't breathe on their own, let alone having a piece of cloth shoved over their face. I'll give you that one. But then we decided it'd be a great idea to rejoin the World Health Organization. When this pandemic started, we looked to the World Health Organization, and those guys didn't have any more information than the guy who's asking for change down on the street corner. But it cost hundreds of millions of dollars to join that organization. Set up a COVID office. They set up a COVID committee that reports only to Biden, no one else. There's no Senate oversight. There's no congressional oversight. Just the wantings of a senile old man. So what does that mean for America? Well, basically, we've given those 7 people a blank check and given them permission to do whatever they think is fine to maintain COVID protection. They can figure out a way to tie the COVID problem into anything, then we're paying for it. He rejoined the Paris Climate Accords. A lot of these are significant hot topics for people into their own, like climate change.
Mm-hmm.
The rejoining of the Paris Climate Accords in its own will cost the U.S. taxpayers a little over $3 trillion. Why? Because joining the Paris Accords, we have to put the bill for countries who refuse to follow the rules to follow the rules. So we have to pay for their upgrades to bring them up to the green standard. We have to pay for China to stop polluting, even though they're now making $3 to our $1. We have to give another 50 cents of that dollar to help the guy who's making $3 not pollute. He revoked the permit for the Keystone pipeline and cost millions of dollars, going to make America more reliant on OPEC, on foreign oil instead of our own oil. He cost hundreds of thousands of jobs in one day. And the one that bothers me personally the most, because of where I live, he canceled the wall. He stopped building the wall that protects southern Texas citizens from the drugs, the criminals that are flooding across our borders. There were numerous reports of 2 or 3 days before the inauguration of Joe Biden, of convoys of people flooding toward the borders to leave Mexico to come into the United States. Now, I'm not saying that all immigrants are bad. I'm not saying that all people that are coming from overseas into this country are horrible people. But there are a few that are. And we don't need that in this country. We have enough in our own country. We have our own veterans who fought and died for the freedoms of this country, who are living in the streets because they can't get a leg up anywhere. And we're taking care of people who are coming across the border bringing drugs, child trafficking, and raping and killing and murdering people over our own soldiers who are on the streets. And they don't care. The left side doesn't care. And how do they illustrate that they don't care? They had our own reservists, our own National Guard, sleeping in a garage. That's how much they care about our military. Eddie?
You know, everything that you said right there is truth. And I mean, there's no way to look at this other than a complete failure. And like I said in the intro, as far as the United States being in cardiac arrest, Rick, what's your thoughts on all this?
Oh, I got to agree with everything he's mentioned so far. Let's not forget also that yesterday he promised South America. A Mexican leader come forward and said that Biden had promised South American country $4 billion in aid and restitution. What the hell do we owe a South American country for as far as restitution is my question. He's also taxing legal gun owners who have an assault weapon. And these legal gun owners, just like you and me, if you have an assault weapon, you're going to be charged an extra $200 per magazine. And if it's bigger than a 30-pack magazine, then you're going to pay extra for that. And then what really tore my ass was just like what Gordon said. He's welcoming immigration with the ability to have green cards available as soon as they hit the United States. Where's the vetting? How do we control this mob insurrection that's going to be coming through the borders, just like they are through Portugal and not Portugal, but other countries that they're mobbing through just to get to the U.S. And I tell you, and there's some other things that just, and let's not forget that he said he was right now immediately, fellas, stating that he is releasing all illegals held at the border and in the facilities that are along the border. So not only is he allowing immigrants to come flooding through the southern portion of the United States, he's releasing everybody that's in the facilities and jails that's in there right now. So I don't get it. I just don't get it. And it is something that is offensive to me, and it should be to every one of you that are listening to our voices right now. It should piss you off, actually. He also has rescinded a Trump order on the electric power grid that basically takes care of our United States, and is hooked into our national defense. Now that just leaves us wide open for China and anybody else to look into what we have and where we're going and how we're structured and everything else like that. So thank you, Mr. Biden, for actually just basically opening our ass up for anybody just to screw us as much as they want.
I have to agree, Rick. I mean, it's just crazy what we're hearing right now with all the bad things that are going on. And people wonder, why are the conservatives so pissed off? This is why. And as well as a lot of the Democrats are starting to get pissed off as well. And I don't think they saw how jacked up all this was going to end up being. James, give us your thoughts on all this.
I'll give them to you, but you probably won't like it. I have to agree with everybody in this panel tonight. Here are the facts. Gordon laid it out perfectly. Perfectly. There's things going on. Trump did exactly what Biden did exactly what Trump said he was going to do. I mean, word for all the rallies we saw from Trump saying, Biden's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do this. Dude, so far, this first week of his presidency is a shit show, and he's doing exactly what Trump said he was going to do. What makes me nervous is what's down the line that Trump hasn't put out and said, he's going to do this as well. We don't know. We don't know what the hell he's going to pull. It's so bad that he didn't call for aid for our National Guard folks that went down to the parking garage. It is so bad to the point where AOC, this donkey face bitch, this crazy psycho freaking left wing lunatic, offered help to our National Guard and said, you know what, if you guys want to use my office, you're welcome in my office. It's to the point where he's more radical than she is. And that's kind of a hard one to top. When you look at Bernie Sanders, man, all the memes been going around with this guy. It's been making my day. This guy with the mittens, those are some lovely mittens too, by the way. I love them. I think they would look good in Gordon. But anyway, I mean, he's as radical as it gets. And he even to our National Guard. But where's Biden? What's he doing? He's just hanging out, eating cookies from his doctor wife because she's a doctor. You guys know that, right? Jill, she's a doctor. So we have to go by what she says too. Very important. But I'm going to tell you right now, this cocksucker is we are in a bind with this guy in office. We are in a straight up bind with this dude. And I don't know, man. I'm just the hope of this nation going down the shitter. But there's a lot of pissed off people besides us, a lot of patriots. And now we're being called Nazis. Now we're being called white supremacy and all this other stuff. Come on, man. Come on. And in the words of Joe Biden, come on, man. What are we going to do?
Well, you guys have hit the nail right on the head. And I mean, it's what I've seen so far is basically the left's attempt to flush America down the toilet. And we're in that spinning cycle right now as the turd's fixing to just go bye-bye for the most part. And seeing our troops on the floor of a parking garage and feeding them basically crap, and until some of the other elected officials had to show up and at least get them pizza. I mean, that's just bullshit. In our nation's capital, no less. I mean, I can understand if our soldiers were overseas or if they were in some foreign country or whatever the case might be. But this is our nation's capital. They were called upon to defend. I'm so glad that, as far as I know right now, Texas and Florida are the only ones that pulled the troops back. And I do know that Greg Abbott received a call to allow the troops to stay longer, and he basically told them to go fuck themselves. Which is, I'm glad he did, because these troops are over there doing what they can, and they're over there treating them like shit. And like Greg Abbott said, these are not Nancy Pelosi's, bellboys,
Exactly,
or whatever it was that he called them.
police force.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't her slaves, her personal slaves, and it was just amazing to hear all this. And then to top it off, like you said, they're basically releasing everybody that they have at the border, all the illegals, but not only illegals they're releasing convicted criminals.
Yeah.
Convicted criminals. Not your everyday Joe Blow who's going to be out here going to work and trying to support his family. They are releasing criminals that were convicted of sexual assault of a child, burglary, robbery, murder,
Rape, murder,
MS-13, all of these idiots, all of these stupid fuckers, they're released back into the populace because of Biden.
Eddie,
they don't have any choice.
Eddie, you need to explain for those, because MS-13 is a big deal down here for you and I. Maybe James, but there's a lot of people who don't know what MS-13 is.
MS-13 is
probably here in Wichita, Kansas, too.
Yeah, they're probably one of the meanest, most diabolical, explosive. I don't even know the terms that you can use to ruthless gangs you'll ever see.
Ruthless.
These are the kind of people that will cut your legs and arms off while you're still alive. I sent exactly. Gordon, and not long ago, and Rick had it, and I don't know if you saw it, where they cut that guy's legs off and arms off at the shoulders while he was still alive, basically left him a torso on the ground. Okay. And these are the kind of people they're releasing back to be free with all of us. Is this the kind of shit you want running around? It's not the kind of shit I want around my house. And if I catch one, he's going to stay there. This is the kind of crap that everybody should be worried about. Don't say, oh, well, that's your problem, Texas. Not just Texas, guys. This is going to be coming to your doorstep before you know it.
They're going everywhere.
And the minute they get
and the other part of that is they have sanctuary cities for these people to go to.
Yeah.
And that's
the minute they get released,
why do we have cities for these freaking criminals and not our veterans,
Right. And as soon as they get released, what are they going to end up doing?
They're setting up shop.
Yeah, they're going to disperse all over the place. You'll never get them again.
Yeah.
Eddie,
I just got a notice from one of my buddies up in Wyoming, and the Taiwan government went on high alert because of the incursion of 8 Chinese bombers, 4 fighters, and 1 sub-hunter just breached the Taiwanese airspace and the international waters of Taiwan Strait. And they went full alert. Why? Because they don't see us as being a threat anymore. Trump is gone. What's Biden going to do? This is what's going to happen, Eddie. This is what's going to happen.
Oh, the U.S. is going to collapse easily. Right now, we're at our weakest point. We're the weakest we've ever been.
We're totally fucked.
Right,
we're fucked.
It's sick
right now.
Bitch about it because we have no way to defend the United States. All we can hope for is that on our end here in Texas is that we'll have enough troops available to help at least defend Texas, because the rest of it, I don't know what's going to happen, guys. Maybe Florida might have enough troops, but everybody else, it's nuts.
The Taliban have also regrouped. 6 car bombs went off today, killing 28 people just in one day. 6 car bombs. Why are they doing it? Because there's no one there to stop them. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to get worse too, gentlemen. This is something that is not going to be easy on any of us. Not only do you have these the wall being stopped and the illegals being released, but what does that do for our borders, gentlemen? What does that what can come through our borders now? Anytime they want.
Anything.
I was
Anything. You
I was
can
told
catch a
by-
flight from Iraq to Mexico and walk through our border. If you're from Iraq, if you're a terrorist, you can go through, you can fly into Mexico and just walk across the friggin' border.
Doesn't
Now
matter.
that the wall has been stopped, and what are we going to do now? I mean,
It doesn't matter. One of the other
Ridiculous.
executive orders that were signed was the fact that Biden killed the ban on all Muslims. So it doesn't matter. You can fly into New
the
York.
Muslim ban, so they could fly into our hometown.
Yeah, they don't even have to
They can
sneak
fly
in.
anywhere they want to.
Yeah, you're right, Gordon. Yep, forgot about that.
Yeah, they don't even have to sneak in.
No, they can just arrive and say, "Wash my feet, bitches."
And then
Here-
you've got
Here we are.
you've got all this crap taking place. Biden's throwing money at all these other countries like it's nothing. Our money, the taxpayers' money.
Mm-hmm.
All the illegals are going to start getting checks, medical insurance, health insurance of all types and kinds, while the rest of us have to bust our behinds in order to have our own insurance. And even at that, most of us can't even afford to have insurance for everybody in our family because it's so expensive. But
That's
the
high.
United States give it out to
Mhm.
people who aren't even citizens. Can you believe that?
2 of the promises that he
Yeah,
made,
actually, I can. Under
on
a
his
Joe
campaign,
Biden
you know,
administration, I can.
Go ahead, Rick.
2 of his promises that he campaigned on. He made a big stand on these 2 promises. The one was about how he was going to be the one to save and be the savior of the nation with this COVID-19 vaccine coming out. Since Friday, there's been little to no one to address the impact of 2019 or the COVID-19, and that he has blatantly said it will just have to run its course. And the other campaign promise that he promised, remember the $2,000 that he said he was going to be given to everybody? Now it was $1,600. Well, fellas, I hate to tell you this, but now it's 0 because they just don't have the administrative ability to get that money to the U.S. citizens at this moment. So it's shot
No,
down.
because they're giving it to everybody
Mhm.
else. And we want to make one thing clear. Stephanie was on here. She just posted this, and she said, we need to make it clear that not all Muslims and not all Chinese are bad people. It's their communist leaders that are the threat to us all. And you're correct there, Stephanie. And that
Totally
is
agree.
what we
Totally
need to make
agree.
clear. They're not all bad people, but it is their leaders.
Hey,
It is
totally agree. I work I work with Muslims and I work with Chinese people at my work. Great people. It's just the leadership of these radical Muslim and radical Chinese. That's the difference right there, Steph. If you can be a Democrat or you could be like a left-wing extremist, and those left-wing extremists, those are the domestic terrorists here in America. And same thing with China and the Muslim community. So you could be, right there, or you can be extreme and you could be on that terrorist version of it right there. And that's the same thing we're battling here on the home front. It's no different.
I agree.
But no, totally agree. We're not putting everybody in a group, Not everybody's in that group, but there is a select. But we have them here on the home front. More here than what we need to worry about right now.
See, we've got to remember we're playing by 2 different sets of rules. By us talking about that, not making the distinction, people will view us as being non-politically correct or wrong until we made that distinction that not all are bad. But us being conservatives and being Trump supporters, we're all Nazis and we're all bad. Not the select few who did what they did at the Capitol, not the select few extremists that caused damage, but all of us. So there's two different sets of rules that we have to play by in this world now. I have a good friend of mine who spent his entire life in the oil industry. 2 years out of retirement, he can't get a job now because he was laid off. Biden, in his last debate with President Trump, said that he was going after the oil industry, and he said he was going to phase it out. Guess what, people? He lied. Canceling the pipeline was not phasing it out. Canceling that pipeline was breaking the legs of the oil industry in this country. We saw gas prices go up 30 to 40 cents a gallon overnight.
They're going to go up even more than that, Gordon. Just watch.
They're going to go up on an average of $2 a gallon.
Yeah, it won't be long before here in Texas, we're going to be paying at least $5 a gallon. And Texas is one of the places where we pay the least. And if it gets up to $5 a gallon, you can bet your butt it's going to be around $8 to $10 a gallon in California. So get ready.
Right. I was just thinking that too. Think about New York and all these other states way up north, Montana. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be
Gentlemen
almost
up north of me.
your car.
Gentlemen up north of me in Nebraska is where that pipeline is now coming through. I have lots of friends. I have one that just got home yesterday. They were working 2 days ago. And now that the pipeline is stopped at the Kansas-Nebraska border, the governor of Nebraska has wrote a letter and is basically, I think they're going to file some kind of suit against the United States as far as Biden in this corporate argument as far as what this pipeline can and cannot do. But in the meantime, just like you gentlemen were talking about, these people are out of work. They have no job. She come home yesterday and she said, I don't know when I'll go back to work.
You know, it's bad. You know, one of the numbers that everybody likes to look at and everybody likes to tout is what are the unemployment numbers for the United States? Laying off that pipeline and stopping that pipeline and stopping the wall increased our unemployment rate 2%, roughly. I think it was 1.34%.
And that's not the only thing going to go. And that's not the only thing going to go down, gentlemen. My one son, my partner's one son, he works for Spirit Corporation. They're out of, used to be Boeing, and it's the biggest airplane manufacturing facility in the world in Seattle and Wichita, Kansas. They are looking at possibly shutting down the complete industry of that airplane making facility. And that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jobs.
Well, and Don Harris just made a comment that says coal companies in Kentucky are talking about layoffs sometime this year. My cousin's company said that said it was so last week. Look, guys, you know, everybody, all four of us. Well, I know three of us were laughed at because of our political views and what we thought was coming. James, they laughed at you because they have that you because you have a little wiener, but they also laughed at you for your views. But
you got to throw
everything.
It's kind of tough, man. Self reflections, man. It must be tough for you, man. You piss straight out. I mean, you know, you piss on your
everything that we have said.
You're nuts. It's got to be tough. I'm sorry to hear it, Gordon. I really am, brother. I support you.
We done?
I mean, because your underwear can't. So.
Yeah. Darren here. Glad this.
Go ahead.
We're glad it's live on YouTube also there, Darren.
Yeah.
See how long it takes that way. By the way.
Oh, hey, speaking of that, Eddie, speaking of that, real quick.
We are getting shut down a lot every week. And if you happen to be looking for our videos for Political Analytical on Facebook, you're going to notice that they're not up. It's because they keep tearing them down. And we do have our podcast, which is up and running. And we are posting our podcast as well. And so far, they haven't touched the podcast, but the videos from on here on Facebook are being, I guess, executed for lack of better terms. But we keep posting our podcast as well. So we are recording this live as we speak. So I'm sorry. Go ahead there, James.
No, I was gonna mention that, and you nailed it right there, buddy. The censoring that's going on right now is, it's so harsh, and it's so, it's stupid. It's against our First Amendment, and it's happening. So if we get yanked off of this platform here from Facebook, and we got to get the people what they want, man. So we need to try to start venturing out and figuring out where we're going to do this. And on a side note, we're not sponsored by anyone, so we don't have like major platforms to go off of. So what we're doing right now is what we have. And I'm not trying to talk about sponsorship too much, but this is one of the best hot sauces in the world right here. This is Extreme Heat, and it's badass. It's Elijah's Extreme. Get it on Amazon. Not sponsored by Elijah's, but $13, and it's Carolina Reaper and Scorpion Pepper. Really good stuff. Plus, it has a great flavor to it. Not sponsored by it. So yeah, we need to get on a different platform, maybe, because eventually we'll be kicked off.
Well, real quick, we're going to continue to be posting on here as long as we can. However, if that happens, we do have YouTube, which I'm sure will be next, if not first. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But catch our podcast. You can go to anchor.fm, also on Spotify. You can find us on there. You can find us on Apple as well. And you can find our podcasts on there. So even if you don't see us on here anymore, we're still out there. So be sure to look for our podcast, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's on Anchor. Keep a check and make notes, because if you don't see us, that's what happened to us. And we just want to make sure everybody has the ability to still follow us if they'd like. Don, right now, let me put on some reading glasses. Says, I keep seeing my conservative friends leaving Facebook without telling me, and I'm thinking what a few liberal friends I have are deleting me. But I look, and it's family and friends on my conservative circle leaving. As my friend circle dwindles, I'm trying, and I got to go over here. I'm trying my best to piss off my liberal friends. But when they're attracted to me, they don't delete me, no matter how pro-Trump I am. Actually, you're very correct, and I can honestly see that happening. I mean, it's if you got followers like that, they're going to keep following you no matter how bad you piss them off. So I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. If they want to see you, they've got to listen to you. So, amen.
Well, I want to back out of the V here for a second, gentlemen. I want to show you what I did here. That's this flag's hanging in my studio right now. It's going to remain that way until this shit gets righted or something breaks and we have something to do, because we are a nation in distress, gentlemen, even as we speak.
I agree. So what we're going to do right now, if you gentlemen would allow, just we're going to give 15 minutes of silence. And I'm not going to play any music because they've been using some of that as well to delete us. So I'm not giving them anything that we're not already giving them. So we're going to give 15 seconds, and we're going to be right back. But we're going to be here, so just keep looking. All righty, we're back. So just needed to make a little break there. That way, when I do my editing, I can find our little break area and add some stuff in there as well. So we are back. And James, you want to continue onward?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. I don't know what our path forward is at this point because you've all done our thing, went out and voted, and it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. It didn't, and now we're stuck with what inevitably we thought we were going to be stuck with. So, and everybody's like, well, now you have to admit, Biden's your blah blah blah, and to me, in my view. I said it before, where he, I have to admit he's my president, but no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm kind of going back on that because he didn't win fairly. Don't believe it was a fair election. So I think there is a thief in the White House. And I think that, we have an illegitimate president in the White House. So fuck that. No, I don't have to claim this asshat as my president. And I won't. And just where I stand on this, I'm not sure what this guy's going to do in the next couple of years, but I predict 2 years and 1 day, and he'll be out of office. And then you'll see, Camel Toe hairy ass in his spot, and that shit's going to get even worse because she is as progressively worse than anyone up there. Like she's at Bernie Mittens level. And yeah, Dawn, I'd love to agree with that. I keep hearing Trump has some cards to play and he's just waiting to play them. But how many times have we heard this is going to happen, that's going to happen. It's just been one letdown after the other. And here we are. The only thing that has come true is the predictions that Trump has put out and said, this is what Biden's going to do. This is going to do. Not my president at all either. Definitely not. This guy couldn't hold a fucking bingo. I'm not even going to go there. Either way, what's going to happen is we're going to see a progression of this country getting bought off and getting paid off, and our freedoms and liberties starting to go away. And it's already starting. I mean, the first week of Biden's presidency, and I will always do this presidency in quotations like this because it's bullshit presidency. We've already seen a decline in everything. We've seen him, play us like a fiddle and just sell everything off, and everything he's done, it's been a shit show for the first week. Like, I mean, it's been really bad. Just even on our home front with our troops, and just now all this stuff that he's reversing, he's signing shit. He don't even know what the fuck he's signing. And there was a video I watched today, and he's like, "What is this?" Look, I'll demonstrate it. So, what is this? I don't even know what I'm signing. Oh, okay. Oh, shit.
Yeah, did
I need
that
some slacks.
signing on that?
I want to see that naked picture of Nasty Pelosi again. So he signed shit like this, and he don't even know what the fuck he's signing. He don't even signs it. What the hell is this? What is going on with this guy? He had a stack of executive orders like this that he just signs away. What the hell is he doing? So it's just going to get worse. It's going to get bad before it gets good. I'm telling you now. I don't know what the outlook is. The Democrats control the House, the Senate, and now the friggin' White House and the presidency. And I don't know what to think about that. I really don't. There's going to be some bad changes. We're fixing to get sold off. I have a bad feeling about this shit. Really do. I hate to be a downer, but I really have a bad feeling about this shit.
I'm going to interject if it's all right with you, gentlemen.
All right.
I'm going to have to agree with our friend from overseas. He says that people have to stop believing in a plan and starting to plan for yourself. Look, guys, I've got a buddy of mine who's a Secret Service agent. And when I say Secret Service agent, I mean he's in presidential detail when they come this direction. He's assigned to that detail. That's how high up in the Secret Service he is. We need to stop looking for Trump to save the country. We need to start taking responsible actions to save our families from the government. We need to hope for the best and plan for the worst, because that's what is headed towards us. People who have labeled themselves and who have during this election have gone and said, I am a conservative, I support Donald Trump, this is my right, and I'll support whoever I feel like. Shown support by doing Trump trains, shown support by doing anything conservative and against the liberal media that's out there. We now all have targets on us. CNN actually came out and talked to several professionals and said, hey, how are we going to re-educate all these brainwashed Trumpsters? All 75 million of us. There is no magic wand anymore. There is no unicorn that's going to come down and shit rainbow sprinkles and fix everything. That ship has sailed. We have to start planning and for ourselves. And we have to start doing it because no one else is going to do it. We don't have a government that watches out for the people.
Not anymore.
People have to watch out for the people. Our friends, we have to watch out for our friends. And our friends have to watch out for us.
All of us on here have each other's backs, and that's going to continue, and we have to.
100%.
We have to. All of us, including everybody out there in the chat room. We all have to watch out for each other and take care of each other and back each other up if we need it. Rick, what's your thoughts?
I have to agree with Gordon 100%. It is time. It is time that we sat there and quit looking at the doom and gloom of what they gave us. We know what happened. We know how they treated us. We know what they're going to do if allowed even further to escalate in our lives. Just like when Harris was talking about, and Lisa Franks and everybody in the chat. It's time to sit there and I had this one person tell me that, well, everybody needs to write the representative. Everybody needs to sit there and call them at your government office levels. Well, I don't think anything would ever happen concerning that, because your phone call is going to be basically blocked, and or you're going to be put on hold for the rest of the day. Your letters are going to go into the trash as soon as they hit the office. And just like everybody was talking about here, it's time that we look out for ourselves. It's time that we sit there and get ready for what needs to be done, as far as even having a bug out bag ready for our families and ready to make a move. Because for one, I really believe these tough times are ahead of us, guys. And we have to be ready, and we need to look out for each other, just like Eddie was talking about.
James.
Rick, you nailed it, brother. You call your congressman, you call up there, they don't give a shit what you have to say. Here's the way I look at it. So the way we feel about going on right now, and how fucked up the left is, and how fucked up this whole process is and shit like this, is the same way they feel about us. So we're employed at some building, and they said, okay, all you're going to do, your job all day long, is to screen calls and report, they say. And we start getting calls from a bunch of snowflakes and a bunch of dildo wielding freaking rainbow haired sissies and whatever. So you're not serious. You're really not. So you're going to get these phone calls and you're probably going to laugh at it. It's the same thing they're doing to us right now, because they are so like us, but opposite from us. And that's the thing people don't understand. Like, they're radical as shit, and their thought process is completely jacked up, but they're passionate about their thought process, just like we're passionate about our company and about not our company but our country. We're passionate that, right? And they're the same way, but just on the radical and weird side of things. They're using pronouns now, him and her, and I don't even know what the hell that is. And we had this thing down here. I don't know if you guys remember, on the Fred Hartman Bridge here in Mont Belvieu and Baytown, where a bunch of them blocked up this bridge and they were hanging from a bridge. And they did an interview on one of these people, and they were radical left. Just I don't know what they were protesting, but they were hanging from ropes off of this big ass bridge that we have over here. And one chick got on there and she's like, "Hey, my name is Skylar. My pronouns are her and she." I don't even know what the hell that means. It's like, is this what we're going to? I don't know what the pronoun thing is all about. Like, why do we need? What's going on with this shit? And it just freaked me out. I'm like, what am I watching, man? So I just turned that shit off and put on some Slayer and went about my business. But either way, I don't know, man. It's so much crazy stuff going on right now. We're witnessing a dynamic change in our culture, in our evolution, and in our process. We're witnessing this right now. She, her, him, Dawn, that's confusing. I don't know what they're talking about, but it freaked me out just for a second. Like, my pronouns are her and shit. I was like, the fuck is this? So I'll just turn that shit off, man.
Hey, James, you just reminded me about something. That's another thing that he did. He's now allowing these wannabe guy girls, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, to now run and play in sports on the girl team. So you've got guys that are technically guys, they're dudes, okay, competing against actual women. That's bullshit. That is bullshit.
Well, yeah, and the part about that is, I mean, the women are going to win every time because the guys can pee standing up, and he's already hired some transgender. I don't know what you call this thing, but he hired this person is in health of or in charge of health. Shit, I can't even remember what it was, but I don't know, man. It's just we're in for a long freaking ride, dude. Well, just some crazy shit is going to go down.
Here's another thing. I mean, we've got daughters. I know, at least I do. I know you do. I know Rick does, and I know Don does. We have daughters that go to school, and they're going to allow these transgenders to go into the restrooms with our daughters. If I catch one going in, it's going to be bad.
I agree.
This bottle of hot sauce is going to go up somebody's mangina. The mangina will feel the wrath of this hot sauce. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I mean, I can't believe it. And,
yes, I said mangina.
Danielle says, yes, Eddie, because they identify as females still doesn't make it right. Don't care what they identify as. You can identify as a freaking cricket for all I care. It doesn't make a shit to me. You are what you are when you're born, no matter what you identify with. Your DNA says one thing. So, I'm sorry that you're not comfortable in it, but you're not going to be going to the bathroom with my daughter, even if unless you're a girl. It's just not happening.
Well, you know what? Here's what we should all do. Everybody on this right here and in our chat, we should identify as politicians, and then we'll end up rich, and we don't have to do this bullshit. And we can go live over there with Darren, the sexiest voice on podcasting in New Zealand, and not have to worry about the crap that's going on. We'll just let's go ahead and identify as politicians.
I'm sorry, I've got to draw the line somewhere. I will not ever identify as a politician. You can take that idea and put it in the hot sauce and grab it up your ass.
Okay, Darren says we can.
I knew that. Sitting down, peeing thing into him. I didn't mean to call you out by peeing sitting down, Gordon. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to expose that to everybody. I know you pee sitting down. I didn't mean to bring that up, but I knew that was going to get on your nerves. My bad, man.
Listen, what can 75 million people do if they are organized? Refuse to pay tax, protest, grind things to a halt? That was Darren. I mean, there's a lot 75 million people can do. Believe me. Kristen says, "Hey, wait." Danielle says, "Exactly, Eddie. Got to get some caught up over here. We were getting like far behind. What do you have against crickets? Nothing. Love crickets. That's why I want to identify as one."
They're noisy and we hate them. So they're noisy as shit. I hate them.
Chris says, "I stand outside of the bathroom when my wife and a daughter go in. I don't care who I identify as. You won't go in there." True. I'm with you right there, buddy. And Don Harris says, "But listen to the science." Yes, the science.
Yeah,
You have
science says there's. Thank you. Yes,
that's
science says there's two genders.
Yeah,
science. They said there's two genders.
hey, if you can't,
don't be sorry. That's
look down.
Look
down. That'll tell you. And don't be sorry. And Daniel says that shit is not science. Common sense, maybe. Yeah. And Darren, there's too late here, mate. We rolled over years ago, LOL. And Stephanie says, we are real men and women who are warriors. 10-4. I agree. And Danielle says, Kristen's nickname is Cricket. Well, see, now we know.
it really is. She has it on her work stuff. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's terrible to think about this thing, but I guarantee you, nobody's getting past me while my daughter's in the restroom. Not happening. If I can't tell if you're a woman or not, you're going to have to wait to go pee. That's just all there is to it.
You're going to have to show some credentials.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah.
It's a Sheila. Okay, so Gordon, you're sitting there with a little grin. What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking that our hour's almost up, and I'm thinking, what do we have to look forward to? And what do we have to look forward to? Not much. The next 4 years is going to be an absolute 100% shit show. Our lives in the first 17 days, or in the first 10 days, whatever it's been since that idiot was inaugurated, have been completely flipped upside down. 7 days he's managed to dismantle and increase unemployment $1.25, $1.50. That's horrible. He wrote, and I've been waiting all night to spill this one out. He signed an executive order. This is the 17th executive order that he signed as a blanket executive order that freezes all of the executive orders Trump signed until such time as he and his staff have time to review them and decide whether or not they make sense.
Of course they don't make sense. His own damn name doesn't make sense to him. He's an idiot.
But
did we
it doesn't matter,
president, or did we install a dictator?
It doesn't matter. That's what I keep getting at, guys. Doesn't matter whatever happens. 75 million people can go into the Capitol building and each take a turn taking a shit in their respective men's and women's bathrooms, and no one's going to care. These people have an agenda to destroy America. These people have an agenda to roll out a one world government. These people have an agenda to take down what we founded this country on and our beliefs in this country. Our way of life, it's gone from being a thought that's been under attack to now our way of life is under attack. And we are out of options and we are out of time. Very seldom am I the person on the show who is known as the voice of reason. I deal in black and white because that's all there is. There is no gray in my world. It's either black or it's white. And when Biden was inaugurated, we went from white to black. There is nothing else. For us 75 million Americans, all we have to rely on is each other and our family. And when I say family, I mean your immediate family. Family is not always blood. During the Civil War, brother turned against brother, father turned against son. That's coming again. How long do you think it's going to be before these vaccinations that everybody's talking about are mandatory and being produced by a company called Microsoft? How long do you think it's going to be before Bill Gates has his little grubby hands in everything? Not long. And then they're going to become mandatory for the good of the American nation. We are going to infringe upon your civil liberties for the good of the American nation. It's for the good of the American nation that you don't have more than your immediate family in your house. I don't care what holiday it is. It's good for the American nation to have more people at home, not out working. It's good for the American nation to have them reliant on a government, not on themselves. This is the agenda over the next 4 years. This is the agenda that we're all staring in the face. We are staring in the face of an absolute beast and a monster that is hungry for our civil rights. And all we can do is hang the fuck on.
Agreed. Rick, you want to continue? Closing statements?
Yeah, I just got a notice from another one of my friends. Joe Biden has said categorically that by the end of the week, he will reverse transgender military ban as soon as possible. If that doesn't say anything about what we have in government right now, then I don't know what the hell else is going to wake you people up. Okay. And I have to agree with Gordon 110%. It is now time for us to take a hold of our own lives. It is now time for us to sit there and watch out for each other's back. It is time for us to sit there and wake up. And now is the time that we do what we can to make it of our own. I like what was said on the chat there earlier, Eddie, about the Patriot Party. It's time to switch parties. I have rescinded my affiliation with anything and everything having to do with this Republican Party as of last week. I no longer belong to that party. And that's going to be something that I will stand with until I find something that I can truly believe in. And right here's a good start. As far as we unite and we get together, the ones that love America as we understand it and love it as we grew up with it. And we will continue down that path and not veer left or right of that path. And like I said, it's going to be a hell of a battle. And I hang on not only to you, friends, but also to everything that I hold special in my heart, in my belief, and in my love for this country.
Amen, Rick. Couldn't have said it better. James, closing comments.
Guys, a lot of good points tonight. And as always, Eddie and Rick and Gordon, I appreciate you guys letting me be here and, voice my opinion. And I really do. I really appreciate that. And just a lot of good points tonight were made, and especially in the comments too. I think we have a long road ahead of us. I really do. And but it's not all doom and gloom. We gotta stick together, like everybody says. But you gotta have some kind of right. You gotta have some kind of ray of light. You can't just be like down in the dumps all the time about this stuff. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. Don't let this, understand it's gonna affect your life. It's gonna affect your kids, and it'll affect your 401k and your outcome on financial ends. But don't let it affect your entire life, because you can get so consumed in this stuff and it can take you over, and it really can. And the next thing you know, all you're looking at is political shit. You don't want to do that. You really don't. So you have to take a break from this stuff and just let, what's going to happen, because really can't, what are we going to do to change it? We really can't change a whole lot, but we do have a big voice, and we do have the opportunity to express that voice for now, until all of this is taken off and we are censored through, our First Amendment is complete. But for now, we do have a voice, and there are things we can do, but don't let it stress you out. Just go with the flow for now. That doesn't mean just and die and accept what's going to happen, but just kind of ride along and don't stress out too much about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll really get on your nerves, man. It can really work on your mental health and the people around you and your family and everything else. And just don't let it consume you. But I'll tell you, we're in for a long ride. This is going to be a shit show. Like Gordon said, it's going to be a total and complete shit show. And it makes me sick too, the way everything's turning out. But we can see what happens. And hopefully, somebody can come along and help us out, because, man, if not, we'll be bought and sold to
China.
Highest bidder.
Well, here's the thing. Like Lana said,
yes, sir.
He ruined women's sports. Yes, he did. We talked about that earlier, and he did without fail. He jacked up women's sports to no end. He's jacked up a lot of stuff, and it's just the beginning. And this is his first week, gentlemen and ladies. This is his first week. And he's got things so jacked up and turned around that even a lot of the Democrats are wondering, what the hell did I vote in? The ones that did vote him in, not the dead people. It's amazing to see what he's doing to the country in his first week to make it worse for everybody. He is also making it to where people are not going to be able to afford their medications, their insulin or epinephrine, like Don said. All that stuff is going to go out the window.
Yep.
The prices are going to go up. People won't be able to afford it. And it's sickening and it's sad. Instead of taking care of the American people, he's killing them. All I can say is that we all need to stick together and work together to try and do the best we can during these trying times. It's not going to get better just by us talking about it. It takes action. And it takes action on everybody's part. Stephanie says y'all should check out Telegram if you haven't already. Lots of things being.
Yeah, I just wrote that down. What is Telegram? Does anybody know what that is?
It's an old way of communication where they used to do the taps and dots and dashes to make out letters and words.
No, that's Telegraph. That's Telegraph. The graph for the P.
Telegram.
Yeah, I hear you. That
I'm saying so. No, I haven't heard of that one.
Bad depression.
I'm on a couple of different. This. Rick, you're showing your age right now, man. You know what it sounds like. Oh, Lord. Telegram. Y'all, we'll have to check that out. Check it out. What the hell was that?
You know, I have to go on the record, and I'm going to have to say a little bit about
Right.
everybody here real quick just before we end out tonight. Yeah, I give James a hard time about a lot of things, but I will actually have his back. A lot of respect for Rick and Eddie both, and they both know that I got their back. If you guys go back, you can go back 3 months, start listening to our shows then. You will see that we have been right about 90% of everything that we have said.
Exactly.
Rick and James, they do a great job about doing research. I do a good job of putting shit together. Eddie, you do a good job of, well, we're working on that, but you do a good job, Eddie. So, but anyway, thank you guys for tuning in and listening.
Eddie's like the nanny. Eddie's like the nanny of the group. Eddie's the nanny of the group. He keeps us together, you know, kind of keeps us in check, man. Same here, Gordon, man. I got your back 150% brother. 150%, just like the rest of these guys in this, podcast, man. And I love to fuck with Gordon because I love to push buttons. But it's cool that we can go back and forth and do that kind of shit. Man, I love to do that, and that's the way it should be, man. You know, if you can't take a joke, fuck you.
That's your nanny.
Hey, you know what? I live by saying, it's fuck them if they can't take a joke and joke them if they can't take a fuck.
All right, boys. As your nanny, it's past our time, past your bedtime. So we have to call it quits. So until next time, everybody, we love you guys. Stay safe. Play it cool. Keep your head up. Don't get depressed. There are better times in the future going to come our way eventually. So don't think it's all doom and gloom. So until next week, 8:00 p.m. Central Time, y'all take care. Please pass the word around. Please share the videos. And if the video's gone, share the podcast. And it helps us, really. It does if you at least share that out and get it out. But y'all take care, and we will talk to y'all again next week. Adios, everybody.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night, guys.